this is going to be your best
Listen.
podcast ever.
Epicurean, but OFC and pink lemonade's pretty damn good. It'll put your boat in the marsh. Jesus did not die so you could eat yellow number 5. Excitable.
The nose starts off gentle with noticeable sense of grain that takes shape in the form of fresh baked bread.
Ma'am, you're in the wrong podcast. Educated-ish. I have used the term overproof for so long without really knowing what it
constitutes.
Because for me...
Is there a definition officially?
Welcome to Bitches and Bourbon.
We're live. Hello, Reba. How are you doing this morning?
I'm just peachy.
Peachy. That's funny. That's very funny. We're going to get back to why that's funny.
Good morning.
Did you do that on purpose?
A little, maybe.
Little bit. Not too much.
But it was just perfect, too, so.
It did. We're just going to go with it. We're just going to go that it was completely intentional, and that's a lot of fun. And it is actually pretty close to morning. We're at 30 minutes till noon, but fear not. All beverages discussed today are time appropriate, we think. Of course, our bar for time appropriate is pretty
low.
Is it really a low bar, or is it more like a squiggly sidewalk chalk line? Like I don't know.
It's a little gray.
Sometimes it's purple. Sometimes it's here. Sometimes it's there. I mean, I don't know. We don't really have rules for those kind of things.
We just roll.
As we should.
Yes.
I agree.
Although I will say, I know I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead, but this would have been the perfect day to start even earlier with what we're drinking because of how flipping cold it was this morning.
Completely agree.
Yes.
Could not agree more. And you did jump ahead. That's okay. That's all right. I like your enthusiasm. It always makes for a way better show. So before we jump too far ahead, I'd like to introduce Kay. Kay is a poet. She is a photographer, and she is one of the original members of Books with Bitches and Bourbon. You like to tell everybody hello, Kay?
Good morning, everybody.
Did I leave anything out in your introduction?
Nope, not a thing.
I love it. Well, that's good because
Welcome.
I'm ready. Cheers.
What do I want to cheers first?
Yeah, I think you picked the right one to cheers first because I'm excited to know what you think. I don't really have to taste it. I just wanted to drink it. This is one of my regular drinks.
I think I need an ice cube.
Oh, was it hot?
Yeah, kind of burnt my face off.
So this morning,
Want me to get ice?
we are loving on some hot. It'll cool off really quick,
Yeah.
I promise. Especially out here. This morning, we are sipping on Hot Toddies. We thought it was absolutely perfect. I'm going to tell you, there's a couple of reasons why I thought the Hot Toddies were perfect this morning. First of all, it wasn't supposed to be Hot Toddies this morning.
It was not.
It was supposed to be Irish coffee. I had a whole episode planned with different Irish whiskey and commentary, a whole thing on community coffee because I love them, and these medicinal things for like the different variations of Irish coffee and all those kind of things, except for it's Sunday. And so when I woke up this morning to try to get my life together before Mass, I realized that we consumed all of my Irish coffee ingredients at Christmas. Oops. Whoops. And here in Georgia, it's like 12:30 before the liquor store opens, and I just wasn't waiting that long because, frankly, Mass gets out at like 9:15, depending on how Father feels any given day. And, I just wasn't waiting until noon because why?
Yes.
And then, so my birthday is in June, and I'm going to be 47 years old. But instead of labeling my birthday by years, let me tell you how old I am. I'm at the age where I can go to bed with 2 arms and wake up with an arm and some useless thing. Like I pulled a muscle in my sleep.
Yes.
No kidding.
We understand.
I woke up and I'm like, the fuck did I feel like I've been, like I don't know what I did.
Hit by a Mack truck.
But I'm like, I'm literally just like, when sleeping is no longer safe or fit for purpose, like for rejuvenation and those kind of things, you wake up with a pulled fucking muscle after being asleep. Like, I don't even know what my options are at this point. So we definitively needed something that followed in the same medicinal line
Yes.
as the Irish coffee did. And we already had this time scheduled,
Yeah.
so I kind of wanted it to be morning appropriate.
And we do still have an alternative to still consume the coffee.
Agreed.
In
Yep.
a medicinal
We
means.
do. We absolutely do. And with the weather being what it's been, like, it got cold
Yes.
again.
It was like 40 degrees when we woke up this morning.
Oh my God. Did you see my new slippers? Y'all can't see them. I'll make sure I put a picture in the show notes.
Cute.
Oh my God. I have been looking for these damn slippers for like years. My mom found a pair at Kroger one year. And if
I remember that conversation.
And if you're listening from someplace that does not have a Kroger, Kroger is like our local grocery store. So she found these fuzzy slippers that have like this hard bottom so you can still walk outside, but the bottom wasn't really hard. It was still bendy, so
Yes.
it wasn't real shoey. It was still very slippery.
Like a moccasin.
Yeah, and then it's real soft and fluffy on the inside. Anyway, she wouldn't let me steal them because I've been trying to steal them for years, and I never could. Whenever I found them, the soles were always too hard, like they
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
bendy, and that's not what I was looking for. Fucking Target, I hate Target. I know, I know. Moms everywhere just went. I do. I fucking hate Target. I hate going in there. I don't
Yes.
like it. It's a pain in the ass, but I had to go in there the other day because one of the kids wanted to go in there for something. And I'll
you
be
found the
damned.
slippers.
I'll be damned. They had my damn slippers.
Score!
Game changer. Except
no, you
for
like Target.
no, I
No.
don't like Target. I just like the fact they had their slippers there.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like
It
they
was
still.
a convenient stop.
It made me feel less bad
About having to
go
be
in
there.
That is good.
What did you just have, Kay?
The Peach Toddy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this thing is fantastic.
What's in it?
So in here, so I love hot toddies, and you can make hot toddies a variety of different ways. Interestingly enough, I had my very first hot toddy when I was 6. I had the chicken pox, and Mom gave me Benadryl like a mother
Yes.
does, and that's when we learned I'm allergic to Benadryl. Benadryl makes me hyper and itchy instead of sedated and not itchy. And a 6-year-old itchy, hyper with a chicken
Not
pox
a good combination.
No.
was terrible. So after the first 24, 36 hours, Mom said, F this ish. She poured some wild turkey and some hot tea and said, drink that. And so I did.
Calmed you down a little.
Right to sleep, baby.
Yes.
Right to sleep. And thus my whiskey journey began. From those humble beginnings. So there's a lot of different ways to make hot toddies.
Do you remember if you enjoyed it?
No. I don't even remember it's like in blotches of memories, right? Like it's just
So you
like,
can't blame that on your love for.
why not?
Well, if you don't remember if you liked it.
Yeah, but I mean, subconsciously it's there.
Alrighty.
Look, I realize that you and my mother are friends, but she's taking the W on this one. I almost called it an
no.
L. I almost called it an L, but it's definitely not. It's definitely a win. It's definitely a win. There's a lot of things about me we can blame on my father. We're just going to give this one to my mom.
I'm sure she'll appreciate it.
I know I do. I know I do. This is what we were talking about it the other day when I was 6 months ago, years old, when I realized that my mom was primarily a Scotch fan. I'd never known my mom to drink Scotch.
Yeah.
But that's her favorite, and it's something that she's always liked. And in the beginning, before me, that's what she drank was Scotch. And I'm like, there it is. Somebody should have told me this a long time ago.
Yes.
Makes a lot more sense now.
Right. I
So-
agree.
Anywho,
Yes.
you can make hot toddies. So when Kay asked me what we were going to talk about, I was like, he. And that's when I remembered that.
You thought there was an agenda.
That's when I remembered that Kay, I'm like, haven't you ever listened to the podcast? But then I realized she obviously listens to the edited versions of the podcast, which are far more put together than what actually happens in this room. So we don't know really what we're going to talk about. We have a bottle and we'll talk about that.
Well, one thing I can share as far as memories is my first journey into drinking anything besides wine and beer is when I broke my toe, and it was on a weekend, a holiday weekend, and my daughter and son-in-law introduced me to rum and Coke. They said, drink that to help with the pain.
They're not wrong.
And it was not wrong. It helped.
So where it was me and my mom, it was you and your daughter did that to you.
Yeah, instead of me introducing it to my daughter introduced it to me.
You should tell her thank you when you see
Oh,
her
thank
again.
you.
Yeah, you should tell her.
And I bet that you had a smile on your face even with a broke toe.
Yeah.
I mean, after a few of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, because it's rum, right?
Yes.
Like, for real. Like, so I'm gonna have to
80 proof.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get your daughter on the phone and look, I get it. Or get her with Dan. Dan loves rum, but whiskey, I think, is definitely the way to go. And so, yeah, medicinal purposes, that's what the Hot Toddy is. I won't go into all of the medicinal ways that I use it, but I will tell you that I do have a Hot Toddy about once a month. Mm-hmm. It always makes all of that better. This particular version of the Hot Toddies are always some combination of tea, whiskey, sweetener, right? And then after that, you can pretty much make it taste like whatever you want it to taste like. It can be as complicated as you want to make it. I have seen some super complicated Hot Toddy recipes. I am not about that life. Like I need it to be 3 ingredients or less, or it better be amazing if it's any more complicated than that to make. So a couple of years ago for my birthday, the Silvas bought me a bottle of the Birddog Peach Whiskey. I had never seen it before, never heard of it before, but they brought it. And frankly, it's too sweet to drink for me. Like it's just
By
absolutely
yourself?
too sweet. Yes. But what I found is it makes the perfect Hot Toddy. And it's just tea, honey, Birddog Peach Whiskey, done. You're absolutely finished. You can put a little bit of lemon juice in there if you want something kind of citrusy to kind of lighten it up or whatever. I never do. I like that. It feels like a warm blanket. It's like a hug, right? And so this is my favorite version of the Hot Toddy that I have found today. And Reba, you've never had Hot Toddies before.
No, and after trying it with you this morning, I think you gave a perfect description of it being like cozied up in a warm blanket and just relaxed, and it's like I feel like you need like a marathon of shows going on or something. Just
If anything
chilling.
ever makes me want to watch the Hallmark Channel,
That would be perfect.
it's the Hot Toddy. But I don't know if it's because of the Hot Toddy, the way the Hot Toddy makes me feel, or it really is that thing. Like day 1, day 2 of my period,
just feeling like shit.
Yeah, when I'm those first 2 days when I'm just
And then the Hallmark Channel's even more perfect.
yeah, when I am just not fit for public consumption. Like, so I don't know if I associate Hot Toddies now with like a spike in estrogen or like what that is. But I definitely like if Hallmark movie was a warm drink,
Yes, it would be this.
it would be this.
And this is a perfect combination. Like I agree, because I remember trying the peach Birddog just by itself, and us all saying, "Woo, that's a little too sweet for just straight consumption." And so putting it, like, usually I'm the type of person, teas, coffees, like I want it sweet. Like I don't really want it to taste like it by itself. You know, I don't really like the base flavor of either, and so I don't want to add any sugar to this. The honey and the peach sweetness is a perfect combination for this beverage.
I agree.
I enjoy it.
What I don't have that I usually have that I really prefer is a super local honey.
Oh, yeah.
Because those super local, like the more local the honey, the
Yes.
better it is for like your nose and sinuses and
Allergens,
colds
yes.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But literally today in your cup is just some
Local
it's
grocery
just,
brand.
Yeah, it's just grocery brand honey because that's what was in the cupboard. and some generic ass green tea, which I typically don't use.
Do you usually use black tea, or do you usually use green tea?
Actually, that's as complicated as the tea is where the complication
Flavors.
in my toddies come from, because downtown there is a store and it just has, I think it's Savannah Tea Company, I think is what it's called. Anyway, it's downtown Savannah, and they have every variety of tea you could imagine. I love going in there.
I think I remember you coming home with like a huge variety
Yes.
bag of different teas.
And that's what I typically do for my teas is there's like a black tea, and that's what gives it its body, right? I always start with that because it gives it that tea base that I'm working with. But then, just depending on how I feel, there could be some like ginger root or some kind of minty something or whatever that I want to do.
There is peach tea out there. I wonder what it would taste like with peach tea.
I don't know. I have a peach tea in the house. I almost grabbed it, but then my brain went, that's a whole lot of peach.
Yeah.
And so maybe I don't do that because I already know how peachy this is.
Yeah, I feel like that would
That's
probably
too
be
much.
too much.
Yes. And I
Just
almost,
because of how strong it is in the Birddog.
I almost feel like I put too much honey in mine, to be honest.
I like it.
Yeah, well, you like it on the sweeter side, though, yeah?
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so I almost feel like I put too much honey in mine, but that's fine because it's easily fixable because I'm just going to drop another tea bag in there, touch it again with the whiskey, and pour
Yes.
some more hot water in there, and it'll be fine.
And I love the way that, I mean, you can tweak either. You can, whether we're doing coffee or the teas with your favorite spirits, you can tweak it as much and as often as you want to.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to adjust.
Right.
Pour a little too much coffee in, and add a little more liquor. Pour a little too much liquor, add a little more coffee. Or vice versa.
I don't even know what that second thing you said was. You say too much liquor? No, I'm just kidding.
For some.
I'm kidding.
For some.
It was a joke.
Because, I mean, let's be honest, just based on the flavor profile and our experience with the Peach Birddog, flavor profile-wise, I think that you could have too much.
Well, it's interesting you say that because when I went looking for things to talk about when it came to this Birddog Peach, right? Getting warm already, huh, baby?
Yes.
It does it. Woo! I think
Should've wore a t-shirt.
I think Reba's fixing to flash me.
I should have worn a
I'm
t-shirt.
kind of excited. Do you want a t-shirt? You want me to go get you one?
I'm good right now.
When I went looking for information about the Birddog, interestingly enough, there's not a whole bunch of information about it. Like if you go to their webpage, their About Them page is really nothing but, hey, we make a whole bunch of different flavored whiskeys. There's no story or whatever behind it. And then when you go back to their parent site, which is Western Spirits Beverage Company, there's nothing in there about who they are and what they do. So I had to dig real deep, right, to find out anything about them at all. And the only thing that I found, which I knew, but I didn't really realize until somebody put it in print in front of me, is that the Birddog is one of the, and their whole line is this way, because they have like 14 different flavored whiskeys.
Okay.
The Birddog is one of the only flavored whiskeys that still run in at 80 proof.
Oh.
And I was like, really? And then I went back and looked at the Jack Fire. Sure enough, it's 70 proof. So Birddog is one of the very few
Stronger.
flavors, that keep it liquor forward.
Okay.
And then the flavor. So I'm thinking which is another really great thing about the Hot Toddy, because heat always burns off some of the alcohol, right? Kind of diffuses that a little bit. But with this one, it comes in higher. So
did you learn? Does Birddog even have a base non-flavored?
they do.
Alcohol?
They do, but I don't know.
Whiskey?
I mean, I don't know if it's any good because all of their whiskey is sourced.
Yeah.
So it's not like they make their own whiskey and
Okay.
then flavor it. All of their whiskey is sourced.
Interesting.
And they're not going to tell you where they source it from.
Right.
They just say it's Kentucky.
There are no specific details.
There's not, and it's kind of like beating a dead horse at this point, and I don't think anybody's listening, and they don't care. Like it's just so frustrating to want to know about what it is you're drinking,
And there not be.
It's almost like I want to go on strike and say, unless your bottle, or at the very least, your website contains these things. Like, I'm not
We're gonna
buying
pass.
it. I'm not going to buy it. And I don't, and maybe we try it and see if that works. Because I really do get frustrated about those kinds of things. Because I want to know. Like, I'm interested. I'm not.
Well, that would be, I mean, just thinking about the way we roll up into a liquor store looking for things we haven't tried yet. That's a whole lot of
I have a smartphone.
research stated in the store of, can I find
Yeah, but
anything interesting
you're
before
not-
I decide to buy?
You're not wrong, but it would save me time
On this end, yes.
trying to find shit that there's not anything in there to
Yeah.
look for. Like,
So I
it's-
guess we find bottles of interest, and instead of worrying about it in the store, if we find nothing of interest, then we don't do an episode on it.
yeah, but then we get stuck with what we've got now, which are like 80 billion bottles on my bar that we have to, like, I have to feed my husband when he's drunk to get rid of them.
Or as we've talked a little bit about, we identify, we move to one side. These are bottles that we want to do episodes on, and on the other side, these are free range bottles of you can just consume.
Sometimes you say shit like you just met me 2 days ago. Like,
No, just playing on the part of gonna be more organized and planning this year. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Because sometimes some bottles don't get touched because we're like, ooh, maybe we'll do an episode on that. But then we start talking about it and we're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do an episode on that because you just can't find it or blah, blah, blah,
You
blah.
are literally one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Literally.
I know.
Like, you literally know me better than almost anybody on the planet. And moreover, you are here when we're consuming said drinks. That you think anything that you just said is going to work blows my brain.
Guess not.
Kay even knows. And this is like her first time on the podcast, and she's over there giggling, going, "That's cute." I tell you what, you can be in charge of that.
I think it's as cute as you standing in a liquor store looking up information to decide whether you're going to buy a bottle or not.
But that's what we expect women to do, like with our podcast and stuff. We expect them to like go check out the website real quick and see if we've said anything about it and if we like it or not.
That is intended for people who have zero wheelhouse of any knowledge or experience in consuming or partaking in. Oftentimes, it's them trying to purchase a bottle as a gift.
All right, bet. Here's what we'll do.
Uh-oh.
Here's what we'll do. I issue a, I don't want to say challenge because that sounds too confrontational, right? Challenge seems too confrontational, so I don't want to use that word. I issue an opportunity. She just spit Hot Toddy. I offer opportunity. You can try to organize the bar.
You have to give input on that. That's where I struggle.
I'll do. No.
Yes!
That's not true.
Girl, I came down here, I'm like, you're like, what are we going to do next? What episode are we going to do next? And I said, well, how about I come down and we make a list of what's on the bar that we would be interested in doing an episode on. And instead, we make a list of everything on the bar and don't identify at all which of those that we potentially want to do episodes on or not.
Which we did.
A couple of them we did rule out as we will never do an episode on, but
Correct.
it's also shit that we're not going to drink unless we're already fucking drunk.
Correct.
So, we really did not get a whole lot further on this list of we definitely want to do an episode.
How often do I tell you pick a bottle? Oh, that podcast world means all the time. All the time. Reba, she's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, we can do whatever you want to do. We can do whatever bottle. The only time I ever pick is because she's not going to.
Are you editing all this out?
No, we are arguing in front of the children. No, I am not.
Does she know everything that you tried or?
Yes, she's been with me for it all. Oh, yeah. She knows all of it. Like, she knows. Mm-hmm. No, we are arguing in front of the children.
I'm referring to previous conversations where we have talked about, like, probably not doing episodes on things that are not easily accessible to others. Like, there are bottles over there that we got because of a bottle drop, and so they're not on the shelf
Or like the one I got you
every
for
time
your
you go
birthday.
in. Yes.
But just because they're not easily accessible to us doesn't mean they're not easily accessible to other people. And then we can just tell people about that stuff anyway. Hey, this is a tough bottle. If you find it, if it's in this price point, grab it.
Okay.
If you can't find it, so sorry for you. If you do find it, just leave it on the shelf because it tastes like shit. It's not worth the hype. Like, we can say all those things.
Okay.
And these are the accessible bottles that it reminds me of. So if you can't find this, drink that.
And we hadn't previously had that conversation.
Then there, look. So see, there you go. This is why constructive fighting
Moving on.
works. Oh no, we never just move on. That's not true. We always just move on. Squirrel.
Yeah, you to death.
This is always how it goes. So I am not stealing. I don't want to steal any of your thunder, right? Because this is not one of those funny, ha whatever story times that you do when you do the on the nose. This is not that.
Okay.
But do you remember when we did, of course you do because it was like 2 days ago, Margaret Waterbury's Scotch
Yes.
book, right? And that I told you that she was like the founding editor of Whiskey Wash.
Yes.
So when I'm looking for all this stuff on Birddog, my tea is ready. When I was looking for this stuff on Birddog, one of the few things that I found was actually a review on the Whiskey Wash. And I'm like, what a great segue that is. And so I have to tell you, I almost hesitate to read it because what he is reviewing is the actual whiskey that they offer, not the peach. He's
Okay.
talking about their small batch bourbon, right? He's talking about the small batch Birddog.
Okay.
Right? He says Birddog whiskey brand is probably best known for their various flavored whiskeys, including a jalapeno honey flavored whiskey, chocolate flavored whiskey, and the apparently award-winning blackberry flavored whiskey. Not being a fan of flavored whiskey, and particularly not anything related to the unholy combination of jalapeno, honey, and bourbon,
Yeah, really.
the Birddog small batch is my first foray into the label. Birddog small batch bourbon is pretty typical of sourced Kentucky bourbon, 86 proof, non-age stated. While the label says premium aged, this doesn't have any legal meaning. It doesn't indicate that the bourbon is straight bourbon, meaning it could be even less than 2 years old.
Yes.
I'm not one to immediately dismiss sourced bourbon simply because the bourbon wasn't distilled by the same folks doing the bottling, but a bit of more clarity on the label is preferred if a source whiskey bottler is expecting me to spend money on their product.
That reiterates our desire of needing more.
So we're not alone.
No, I appreciate that.
Right? I love that.
It's not just us trying to educate ourselves-ish.
In conclusion, he says,
Or a poach.
while the taste wasn't unpleasant, there are better bourbons out there for less than the suggested retail price of $29.99. In the $30 range, there are still a few good options for age-stated rye-based bourbons, such as Henry McKenna Single Barrel and Eagle Rare Small Batch. We would
Yes.
agree on both of those.
We should see if he's ever tried Evan Williams bottled and bonded.
Interestingly, you say that.
Yeah.
For the flavor profile described above, you can go grab a bottle of Evan Williams Bottled and Bond and still have $15 left over. Yes! Oh, not that arm.
Sound good. Sound good.
That's funny.
So I don't think he really liked it very much. And I don't know if he didn't really like it or if he's just as frustrated as we are
Yeah.
about, like, whiskey hasn't become any more about what's in the bottle, but what you can put on the bottle so somebody will buy the bottle.
Yes.
Which is very frustrating.
Yes, I agree.
But the idea of jalapeno, I don't think so.
All right, so Hot Toddies. I don't know. I really have a whole lot else to say about Hot Toddies. I love them. I think they're fantastic. They always make me feel better. They're amazing when it's cold. They're amazing when you have the sniffles.
What other flavor hot toddies have you tried?
I don't like this.
Oh.
Like this one was my first. I came back to the Hot Toddy because of this whiskey. I had not had a hot toddy in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And then I knew that I wanted to find something to do with this bottle because, as we know,
no bottle will go to waste.
No bottle. Like, yeah, there's an ass for every seat, as my husband would say. And so I had to find something to do with it. And then one night I was feeling particularly less than. And I was like, oh, a hot toddy is probably what I need. And I was like, Shazam.
Yes.
Right? I have this peach whiskey. And so why don't we try that? And I've just been in love with it ever since.
And I think I even recalled the night that we tried it. We were talking about how sweet it was.
Yes.
I think you had even
It was on my
commented
birthday.
then
Yeah, it was on my
about it
birthday.
being a perfect drink for the hot toddy.
And honestly, I always have a bottle in my house. Like, that bottle is almost empty. The next time I'm at the liquor store, I will pick up another one. I always have a bottle in my house for this exact reason. It doesn't go on the bar. It goes right up underneath the cabinet. I mean, it's just where it stays. So outside of that, I can't think of a whole lot else to talk about the hot toddy. What I will tell you is that I had Reba and Kay's mouths all ready for Irish coffee, which I could not produce this morning, and I felt very bad about
We
that.
forgive you. Anne still showed up.
And still showed up, right? Like, Reba's always
Definitely.
here. Like, I'll be honest, I was a little surprised Kay still showed up, but like, I'm not shocked at all you showed up. I was like, we can reschedule if you want to. She's like, bitch, please, we'll figure that out. And I'm like, yes,
Yep.
we will. But because I already had their mouths ready for coffee and some kind of creamer, they have still managed to make that work. Ladies?
Yes. So for those that may prefer coffee rather than tea, we are enjoying the Buffalo Trace Distillery Bourbon Cream mixed in with our coffee this morning. So I've been,
Sipping both.
yeah, I won't say double fisting because, I mean, I'm not drinking them at the same time, but I've been
Aren't you,
going back
though?
and forth.
That's the same time.
No, they're not in my both hands. My style.
Whatever makes you feel better, my love.
But yes,
It is
adds
delicious.
it adds a little rich cream sweetness and a little extra kick. It is it's only 30 proof, so I mean
15% alcohol.
Yeah, it's not very strong at all, but you can add as much or as little as you like.
And not only that, though, what I have found with those creams, because those creams are all going to be notoriously low proof.
Yes.
And you can like that. So, like I have some folks that come over here that like them because
Yes.
they are lower proof.
Yes.
But you can take those, and what you want to be really careful about is that you're matching your cream with your liquor.
Yes.
Especially if you're somebody that keeps a variety of cream liqueurs in your house. So I always make sure that I'm mixing whiskey cream with a whiskey, that I am mixing tequila cream with a tequila, that I'm mixing a rum
Yes.
cream with a rum. And I'm specifically thinking of the tequila cream. I can't remember what it's called. You can't miss it. It's the only one I've ever seen. It's in a beige bottle, and it literally says tequila cream on the bottle. And then I prefer the Carol Ann's and the Buffalo cream, the bourbon cream for my whiskeys, and then the rum chata for rum. So those are the cream liqueurs that I typically have.
So you're referring to if you're adding additional whiskey or alcohol into whatever
Coffee.
you're mixing these creams or
I prefer it that way. I mean, we proved at our New Year's Eve episode that you can, I mean, we mixed bourbon, we put the bourbon cream in champagne that had coffee ice cubes in it. Like, we did that.
it was horrible.
No, after we put the cream in, it wasn't that bad, remember? Oh, no, that's because it wasn't the champagne. It was the tequila and the coffee and the bourbon cream is what we
That
did.
did not
Yeah.
sound good.
And once we put the cream in, I
Once
go
we
back
put the
and-
cream in.
Yes, that's what I'm
But
saying.
before, that's when it tasted like the mud pie, right?
That was the champagne.
Oh.
Do you ever listen to anything we do? You don't listen to anything we do. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you know how many things we went through that day?
Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact.
No, I can't
I'm-
keep it all
I'm
straight
aware.
of what tasted like what. Even if I went back and listened to the episode, I'm still going to be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, we did all that. Yes, we did. We did all of that.
But I am really enjoying the bourbon cream with my coffee.
I love it. I too love it. My first real foray into cream was obviously Irish cream. And I started out like everybody else does with Bailey's. That's when I found Carol Ann's. I like it a lot better. than the Baileys. It's just my personal preference. What I did discover when we were putting together a brunch list at a pub I used to work at was that Bailey's and Lucky Charms is a great breakfast.
Lucky Charms.
The cereal,
Pouring
yes.
Baileys as your milk into
Lucky Charms.
Oh my
It is-
goodness.
It is makes for a fantastic breakfast.
Is it good like for hangovers or just any breakfast?
I would say any. Like, I don't know why we just sequester it to medicinal purposes. Like, I would do it. I mean,
Yuck.
and I will tell you, I did buy the bag of marshmallows off of Amazon. They are not the same.
Yeah, of course.
And I was so I have to tell you how disappointed I was.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed. But yeah, so don't waste your $6, $8, $12, however much I paid for it. It is not the same.
You'll
It's
be so disappointed.
so disappointed. And the bag is so enticing because like the shapes and the colors, like it's all there. Like you're like, holy shit, I just got a whole bag of Lucky Charms
just the marshmallows.
And then you're like, fuck, never mind. Back to like sorting it with a spoon, right? So that's
I'm
where-
guessing it would make it even sweeter than
a little, but I use unsweetened vanilla soy milk anyway.
Okay.
So it's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot different than that. And then we discovered this rum chata just at a party one time, and I'm like, holy shit,
Yes.
that's delicious.
Yes.
And that's when I started playing with the coffee ice cubes. Interestingly enough, you can use vodka. I did use vodka that rum chata to kind of boost that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big rum fan.
Right.
So I did use vodka, rum chata, and coffee ice cubes. That makes a delicious little coffee cocktail.
Now let me ask, for coffee, what is in Kahlua?
So Kahlua is actually coffee and rum.
Okay,
That's
rum.
what makes Kahlua.
Okay.
And I like Kahlua. Like it's got like obviously when I was much younger and you were trying to be sophisticated, ordering sophisticated cocktails, like back in the 90s, the White Russian was the thing that you ordered to appear sophisticated with a big palate and like worldly knowledge.
Yeah.
I like White Russian.
I like them too, except for I just can't like this. The milk makes my tummy and like my brain does this thing when you're like, hey, you realize you're drinking milk and booze, and
Yeah.
my brain just does this thing where it's like, what? But I'm still trying to perfect this milk punch, and part of that struggle is that whole milk booze correlation. Except for when the liquor comes in this cream form, like the bourbon cream, the Irish cream, tequila cream, the rum chatas, like those things don't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I love those. They don't mess me up at all.
And I also have peppermint mocha cream in my coffee, and then added the bourbon cream, and oh boy, that is good.
Did you when at the Christmas party, did you try the hot chocolate and the Rumple mints or no? You just did
I think
the
so.
coffee and the cream.
I think so. I know I had some of the
The Carolans
Irish
whiskey. Right. So you didn't do the hot chocolate and the Rumple mints.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
At the Christmas parade.
At the Christmas
breakfast,
parade. Yeah, the Christmas parade breakfast.
I had
The one that tastes like a peppermint patty?
with hot chocolate.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you like that one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. That's usually a crowd pleaser. I like just regular Rumple mints. But in that one, that Rumple mints, you have to be careful because it comes off like a schnapps, but it's actually 100 proof.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Yeah, Rumple mints is...
Well, I was really enjoying the Christmas parade.
I love the Christmas
Whole
parade.
new level.
I love the Christmas parade. I really do. I think it's fantastic.
When we broke down afterwards, it didn't bother me a bit.
The calmest you'll ever be.
You're just like, fuck it. Except for I would not have been. Because the Christmas parade, I underestimated the time we would be there, so I had already ran out of champagne. I was not real happy about that.
No, you were not.
Like, it was time, like I'm out of champagne. But I cannot, the Christmas parade was one of my favorite events every year, so I can't leave before Santa Claus comes down. So, if you're interested at all, and we don't need justification, we don't give a fuck, but if you did need some kind of, if you have somebody in your life that talks to you some kind of weird way about when you choose to consume your alcohol and how you choose to consume it, there's a very interesting book by Camper English called Doctors and Distillers. And we'll probably refer to this book a couple of times in 2023 because that's what we've kind of committed to. But as you heard me and Reba fight about earlier today, my organizational skills are less than stellar. And so maybe we do this again in this book and maybe we don't. But we're here today, ladies and gentlemen, and that's all the fuck that matters. So in this particular book, it's the remarkable medicinal history of beer, wine, spirits, and cocktail. And for all of my whiskey lovers, whiskey has its own little section in here, as it should.
Yes.
I believe that that's the proper amount of... I'm a little interested that it doesn't have its own chapter, but it doesn't. It does not have its own chapter. It has its own little section underneath spirits, which, okay, whatever. But at least it has its own section. And interestingly enough, whiskey has been credited with curing almost every kind of ailment you can find.
So in other words, you can have pretty much any reason to justify
Any
why and when you're consuming.
Got it. Any reason at all. Irish whiskey entered the London Pharmacopoeia in 1677, along with other new entries, right, of this pharmacopoeia. Mm-hmm. Peruvian bark and human urine.
Oh.
So, here's what I suggest. I suggest
Like,
that Irish whiskey is a much, much better... It renders human urine as a medicinal ingestion moot. And I think just for that, we should celebrate it.
amen.
Like, just for that. We herald it as thank you
Yes.
for existing.
Yes.
I agree. I was like, okay.
And I can just say, my state of mind calls for some medicinal help.
It's medicinal. Like, we are here. Like, we are definitely here for it. The whiskey was considered... Kay's just throwing shit all over the place. It's fine. It's fine. The spirit was considered purely medicinal at first. I still consider it purely medicinal, quite frankly. Brandy and soda had been considered a health drink in the Isles. But then, because it was so limited, it became Scotch or Irish whiskey and soda. Irish whiskey, there's a recipe in here for Irish coffee, so that is medicinal. There's also a recipe in here for a hot toddy, so we are not wrong in qualifying this as medicinal.
No, not at all.
The recipe here is 2 ounces of bourbon, and it really doesn't have to be bourbon. I would suggest not using a Scotch or a peated whiskey because I think that would taste kind of interesting.
I agree.
You could try it, I suppose, but I don't know that that's what I would do. Half an ounce of honey, half an ounce of lemon juice, and 4 ounces of boiling water. I will tell you that I'm a heavier pourer than 2 ounces.
I was going to say, I'm not measuring.
But I do use a much larger coffee cup. Like, I don't even know that I have a 4 ounce coffee cup, frankly. Like, that would just piss me off. Like, my coffee cups tend to be much, much larger. Or decorations. Not quite as large as Kay's coffee cup. Kay's got one of those damn 20-ounce Yetis.
34.
Excuse me. Excuse me. 34-ounce Yetis.
Yes.
She's like, I'm brewing a cup of coffee. Like, Kay, that's a pot. That's what I said.
Oops. You got it.
Look, if you don't have friends that know how to push your fucking buttons and make you say shit you wouldn't normally say, well, do you really have friends? That's my question.
And still love them at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean,
Or even at the end of the conversation.
or why wouldn't you? While it's happening.
Yeah.
While it's happening. We've got great practice, though, because, like, we live with our husbands.
Oh, yes.
Or they live with us. I'm not really sure which.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure which. It could be either one, either any given day.
We know how to be ready for just about damn near anything.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. I wouldn't trade it for nothing, though.
No.
I dig it. Ooh, it is getting warm.
You got hot last time?
Oh, shut up, Kay.
Well,
Hey, been there, done that.
the temperature is already 20 degrees warmer than earlier this morning, so on top of drinking warm beverages.
I was just fixing to say it might be time to switch to something with ice.
Yes,
I think we should do that.
I agree.
Kay, what did you want to talk about? Actually, you told me there was something you wanted to talk about. What was it?
I was just interested in finding out more about your Shakespeare stuff.
Oh, God, me too.
I love Shakespeare. I came up with all kinds of alternative reasons why he wrote certain things the way he did. So,
Do you have a favorite?
with Shakespeare said, "What's in a name by which we call a rose, by any other name would smell as sweet."
That's Romeo and Juliet.
I was wondering if Shakespeare was really first called Orville and wanted that to change. But before that would happen, he decided what's in a name.
There's so much mystery surrounding Shakespeare. Like, even down to whether or not he wrote the shit he's credited with. Like, there's so much mystery surrounding him. So what
Someone else possibly did it and just put his name on it because he was already known.
No, or he took somebody else's shit, liked it, and
Oh.
put his name on it, got it out there, and then what are you going to say? Because he already put his name on it and put it out there.
And what proof do you have?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to say, really? I don't know. But
Interesting.
I did watch a version, a stage presentation of Taming the Shrew yesterday. I have to tell you, it was kind of funny.
It's supposed to be.
I
it's a
giggled.
comedy.
Except for if the wrong person's watching it, it pisses you off.
Oh, sure.
Because Petruchio's a dick to Kate.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
And I
it's
was
definitely anti-woman lib all the way.
except for that's in debate too, because some folks would argue that the reason Shakespeare made it a play inside of a play was to kind of illuminate the fact that this is such a barbaric way to behave, and that's why he put it inside of a comedy. Because yes, this is how it happens.
To make it a farce.
This is really what you look like. Like, this is what you look like. You look ridiculous. Like, this is what you look like. And I was yesterday years old when I realized that that's where the line "Kiss Me, Kate" comes from. I didn't know that was the origin of that particular, which is the big reason why I'm taking the Shakespeare class, because I know that's where a huge gap in my literary understanding is, because Reba and I were talking about it before the start of the show. Like, she and I have both collectively read half of a Shakespeare play. And not the same one, just different ones. Like, if you take all the Shakespeare we've ever read together and combine it, it equals half of a Shakespeare play. I'm looking forward to getting to finishing these warm drinks because the weather has decided
It's going to be nice.
it's going to be nice outside. So I am going to tell you all thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
It was so much fun.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And now I have to finish this drink and I need to go find something on ice.
Cheers.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with Ape and Reba on this episode of Bitches and Bourbon.
Make sure to check out the links in the show notes, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Until next time, here's to bad bitches and good bourbon.
I mean, you have to like spicy pickle.